family members and friends. It's my pleasure to welcome you again to Life and Living with Samson Olatunji. Let's talk about something again. I remember that in the mid 1980s through the early 1990s, a man by the name Mike Tyson became the world heavyweight boxing champion, and he had a kind of hairstyle on his head. And consequent upon his ascendancy to stardom, his hairstyle became something in vogue all over the world. Hardly could you see any young man who didn't have the Mike Tyson hairstyle on his head. And also in Ibadan, Nigeria, the two most prominent Fuji musicians who were Ibadan based were at loggerheads, throwing jabs at each other in their songs. At a point, because musician A had Mike Tyson hairstyle on his head, he threw aspersion on musician B in the song, which I want to translate thus. Oh, people, let's challenge our friend to go for Mike Tyson hairstyle so that we can see how ridiculous it's going to look on his head. We will see the shape of his head. Oh, you want to know whether musician B was moved to go for Mike Tyson hairstyle? No, not immediately. But at the end of the day, when he did, it was something laughable. But what came to my mind at that time was, why go for Mike Tyson hairstyle? Did his hairstyle have anything to do with his prowess in the rings? We are going to talk about that later. I just want to implore you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so without wasting any time. And I want to implore you to please listen to this video, watch it to the end. And if you like what you have heard, don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with your friends. Some time ago on this channel, in one of our previous videos, we talked about how to prevent celebrity scandals. One of the takeaways from that video is the fact that celebrities are human, they are fallible, they are not perfect all round. Now we are taking off from there. Celebrities are not perfect all round. They come into stardom by performing excellently in just one narrow area of life. We just mentioned Mike Tyson now. Do you know that Mike Tyson eventually went to jail for some moral faults of his? Which means, as excellent as he was in the rings, he had his faults. Now, should we copy everything about him? Is he worthy of being emulated in all areas of his life? No. And that's why we are talking about the topic, beware of celebrity worship today. What is celebrity worship? As we are considering this topic, we'll be talking about certain terms like stan, like celebrity worship and others. Who is a stan? A stan is somebody who is crazily obsessed with a celebrity. They are ready to fight and insult anyone in favor of their celebrity. They stalk the celebrity at every opportunity, online and offline. They want to know everything about that celebrity, and they are always looking for every opportunity to move close to that celebrity. And that's why some people have come up with an idea that the word stan is a blend achieved from two different words. And the words are stalker and fan. So stalker plus fan blended, making stan. Celebrity worship syndrome is a group of psychosocial disorder symptoms, which means if you worship a celebrity, you have a social problem, you have a psychological problem. In fact, you also have a spiritual problem by extension. So now you want to know whether you worship any celebrity, or you are arguing that no, I don't worship any celebrity. By the time we are done talking about the different levels of celebrity worship, I'm sure you may be able to locate yourself within the spectrum. You will know whether you are a celebrity worshiper or not. At the lowest rung of the ladder of celebrity worship, we have what we call entertainment social level. At that level, it is a bit mild. What just happens is that you are passionately obsessed with that celebrity just based on the areas in which they are excelling. You appreciate that celebrity uh, excessively anyway, but just being conscious of the fact that the reason you adore them is that area, that spectrum of behavior or skills in which they have excelled. The next higher level is called intense personal level. At this level, you are ready to do anything to favor the celebrity. You are filled with excessive emotions of sadness, of happiness, of joy, of loneliness, depending on what is happening to that celebrity at that time. At the topmost level of celebrity worship is the borderline pathological level. That is the extreme level. At that level, what happens is that everything about that celebrity is all right. That celebrity has become like Napoleon in George Orwell's Animal Farm, and you are now like Boxer, who will say Napoleon is always right. At that level, anything the celebrity does is okay. The virtues, the values that you cherished, that you were brought up with to cherish, once those virtues are not in line with the celebrity's character, you begin to disregard those virtues. And some vices that you have been brought up to hate, you begin to develop affinity for, you begin to excuse or even begin to imitate just because the celebrity exhibits those vices. If you are really sincere and you consider the description of these three levels, perhaps you will notice that you belong to one level of celebrity worship concerning one celebrity or the other. Then the next thing for you to try to make amends before it's too late. Before we go further, let me ask you this vital question. Are you aware that some time ago, a church in California celebrated Beyonce Mass? Yes, you heard me right. Beyonce Mass. Oh, what about that? What does it have to do with the topic we're talking about? Yes, it has a lot to do with it. If you look at the word Christmas, Christmas is a blend of two words, Christ and Mass, which means Beyonce Mass elevates Beyonce to the level of Christ in that church. What reasons were given by the pastorate of the church for celebrating Beyonce Mass? One of the reasons is that they believe that bringing Beyonce image into that church would pull a great crowd to the church. Meaning that what Jesus says, that if he is lifted up from the sky, from the earth rather, he will draw all men to himself, is not accepted by those people. Their own Jesus doesn't have the power of attraction. Also, the church and the individuals in it are supposed to have the testimonies that will draw people to church. It means they had accepted defeat, that their individual testimonies and the corporate testimony of the church were not strong enough to draw people to Christ. And their Christ is not strong enough to draw people to himself. So Beyonce as an influencer was needed to draw people. What kind of people would that kind of mass draw to the church? Is another question. That boils down to the influence that celebrities have on people that worship them. Perhaps you are one of those people that are trying to rationalize it, but just know that celebrity worship underlies that singular action of the church. And why is it bad to be guilty, to be a victim of celebrity worship. Firstly, know that celebrities are not all around perfect. So it shouldn't get to a point when everything they do is what you accept. And also, only God is worthy of our worship. By the time you worship a celebrity, whether deliberately, consciously, or unconsciously, it means you have chosen another God. Secondly, if you know what most of these celebrities, mark my words, I didn't say all of them, but most of them had to do in order to be transported to the level of stardom, you will be afraid to identify with them so intimately. Are you aware that Kanye West some time ago confessed that his mother was sacrificed? Are you also aware that he mentioned a number of other names of celebrities that had to sacrifice a relative, a family member, or that he mentioned the names? Peradventure, you don't have that information. I'm going to attach some links to this video in the description. Go for them so that you can hear from Kanye West himself. Oh, you can't sacrifice your mother, you can't sacrifice anybody, but somebody is doing it, some people are doing it, and you are goading them on. You are encouraging them. Even those who are not celebrities now, who know what these celebrities are doing, are being encouraged to give anything, even including human sacrifice, in order to reach the level of celebrity. Then you are contributing to the evils in the society as we worship any celebrity in one way or the other. Also, you need to know that most of these celebs are being forced to do certain things against their will. That hairstyle that you see on that celeb might not be his choice. He might have been forced to go for that hairstyle. And that's what you are copying. That mannerism might not have been his own idea, but some forces that are higher in the entertainment industry are saying you must go for this. And that action, that habit, that dress style might be something that has demonic undertone. For example, in that interview that Kanye West granted, he also talked about a kind of manipulation, a kind of mind control project that some powerful evil people in the world are carrying out, making use of the celebrities. They are controlling the minds of the celebrities. And because the celebrities are influencers, they are great influence in you that you have given them that right of influence, they are also influencing you to carry out the wishes of those evil people. Kanye West also mentions that. He mentions people, other people who are also being controlled by those evil cliques, which means, but just come to think of it. These celebrities are getting money, they are getting fame by selling their souls, by doing those things they are doing. But you are copying them, you are imitating them for nothing. Is that not ridiculous? I remember one of my supervisees at university came towards the tail end of his program to show me what he had done. And when he came, he had some dirty looking, crazy hairstyle on his head. And because that was against the dress code of that university, I had the audacity to challenge him. I asked him why that ugly looking hairstyle on his head. And the reason he gave me was that, well, he is a musician and his promoter insisted that he should not have the common or usual hairstyle on his head. Well, I asked him to sing one of his songs that he had composed. And when he sang that song, it was so beautiful and it had a lot of very good messages. Then I posed a question to him. I asked him if the quality of his music would have diminished if he had retained his former hairstyle. And he agreed with me that no, it wouldn't have diminished. So I asked him, why this hairstyle? What is it doing to help your music? He just said, well, he didn't like it, but his promoter insisted. Why did his promoter insist on him having a kind of hairstyle that made him look ugly? can think about that on your own. I also remember one video of Mike Tyson that I saw in which he was nailed to a cross, tied to a cross, and demons were beating him. And he was singing that he was in pain. He wanted to get himself free. He couldn't extricate himself. And he was depicting his own lifestyle. And you know the confessions he made that some people were after his life. He was no longer trying to be a slave to some people. So as famous as he was still a slave to some people who were manipulating him. So why do we have to worship a celebrity being manipulated by some people behind the scene? And we will not be copying all that person is doing. It's ridiculous. How can we stop being victims of celebrity worship? Just take note that everybody can be a celebrity. You too can be a celebrity. And the reason you are not a celebrity now, you are not celebrated in your chosen field, is that you are spending too much time watching and stalking, fighting for those celebrities, while you should be working on the celebrity within you. So what you do is set your goals right. Be passionate about your goals. Invest your time and energy and other resources in developing what you already have, the skills that you have. By the time you are doing that, you will have less time left to be worshiping a celebrity. Then also just take note, try to get information like the one pieces of information I've given us about Kanye West, about Michael Jackson, my former student now. You will realize that it is not worth it worshiping a celebrity. And by the time you have developed yourself to a level, the celebrities will lose their grips on you. We are not saying that you should not appreciate the good qualities in this celebrity. In fact, you could see qualities to emulate in them, but it's not everything about them. We cannot exhaust this all-important topic within the space of time available now. So let's continue to ponder it as we continue our journeys through life. I can see you become universally celebrated as you invest more time on your potentials. But please be determined to be a positive influence on your generation. Do you have any comments on what we have said so far? Or is there a topic you would love us to discuss soon? Please drop them in the comment box. You must be celebrated. Cheerio!